After From the Words from a segment ends, we get the next episode. Written by Joe Fallon and storyboarded by Jean Leon-Ness, and everyone else who is responsible for creating this episode. Now let's get started. In the school cafeteria that is now the auditorium in the middle of the day, I always thought it was in the middle of the night when this part of the episode happens, Arthur is looking at the audience from the backstage wearing a blue suit and a purple tie. Out of habit, he breaks the fourth wall and asks if we think that everyone gets nervous when they do something that's really important to them. He imagines himself as Ben Franklin and Francine as Deborah Reed. You know, Ben's wife. It's a bit curious that he is imagining Francine in that position, or he's imagining her as one of Ben's sisters. Maybe. This part really makes me laugh. Not that part, this one.
Benjamin, do you think you should do this? I have to.
I can't even explain why this is so funny. I guess it's because he sounds so important, as if the fate of the world depends on this moment. Arthur knows what he is about to do will be nothing like what Ben went through, and he shouldn't be afraid. When Mr. Haney calls for his name, all the butterflies in Arthur's stomach start acting up as his family cheers for him. And everyone else. Wait a second. There's Grandma Thora from the intro. The title card appears with the last word being misspelled. Clever. Prunella, Arthur, and Francine walk down the hallway and politely greet Mr. Haney as he's polishing a trophy. And he tells them that the school spellathon is coming up. And he asks if they are ready to compete. Francine brags that the third graders have the best spellers. But Prunella points out that they used to. And now she's in the 4th grade. Prunella asks Arthur if he can spell endurance, the word she won last year with. When I was little, I thought she said in German, and when he started to spell it, I thought he was spelling in German, as if it was a real word. But I was wrong. Arthur is thankful that no one is depending on him to win the spellathon. At the beginning of class, Mr. Ratburn announces that they will have a spelling test this Friday. He tells them to study very hard so they might win a special surprise. Acting all smug about it. After school, Arthur and the gang wonder what the special surprise is going to be. Buster thinks that the winner will do less homework for the rest of the school year. Brian gives in to this possibility and is eager to win. I guess he has other things to do besides homework. And the rest of the gang gives in to the idea and is willing to study for the possible surprise. Each of them studies in their own unique way. When we get to Brain having difficulty spelling a word, the word is
anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Buffy uses some expensive computer program. Buster gets bored and he suddenly gets an idea by staring at a picture of a horse wearing horseshoes to buy a Lucky Charm. The scene transitions to Arthur's dad humming Ravel's Bolero. Now here's the best part of the episode.
Dad, listen to this. This song fits the letters of the first word on my spelling list. A-A-R-D-V-A-R-K.
A-A-R-D-V-A-R-K.
Oh, what a sweet moment. A father and son moment jamming to a song Arthur created. Oh, and right here, a rope that used to bring up the radio. An awesome detail. Arthur enjoys himself dancing and singing as he studies that word. What is it again?
A-A-R-D-V-A-R-K.
Alright, the humanized animal species that he is. While he does what he does, DW interrupts his studying fun.
Oh, is that what you call it? I thought you had ants in your pants.
He makes her leave and he continues to enjoy having ants in his pants. Figuratively. Arthur gets annoyed that DW is coming back up again, but it turns out to be Buster who interrupts his studying fun, and Arthur allows this interruption. Buster asks Arthur if he wants to come with him to the arcade. Arthur believes that he should study some more. I agree. Arthur won't get better at studying because he's so awesome at it. Sing, dance, studying, that same word. I guess it's in his DNA since he's an aardvark. Buster convinces Arthur that he isn't a born speller like many others, and that he's the kind of person who goes out and has fun, and successfully tempts him with the jet game that flips you upside down. That's located at the arcade. The next day, on Friday, Buster has full faith of his good luck charm. and asks Arthur if he's ready for the test. And Arthur is all like,
The test!
"Yes, Arthur, we know what it's called." Francine brags about getting up extra early that morning to study some more, claiming she knows the whole book by heart, including the publisher's address, which I don't think was necessary to memorize that part since it's not likely to be on the test. And then Mr. Ratburn announces that the spelling bee is going to begin, and he looks very excited about it. Arthur begins to worry through his thoughts, and he has a nervous tic as he licks his mouth from this intolerable moment. And he quickly comes up with a plan. Lean against the heater. His temperature will go up, then head to the nurse. As time sped up quickly, Arthur appears to be next. The others before him weren't able to spell this word.
Aardvark.
Really? That's all? Arthur can spell that word in his sleep. Well, maybe while he sleep dances. Arthur is able to spell the word with his technique. Francine fails, since it's impossible to study a whole dictionary. I guess she shouldn't have studied the publisher's address and just focused on the words. Arthur and Brain won, and Mr. Ratburn revealed that the special surprise that they won is that they will be able to compete in the Spellathon. Arthur's jaw drops as everyone cheers. Later at the end of school, Arthur confesses to Mr. Ratburn that he isn't sure that he should compete in the Spellathon, and that he doesn't know how to spell anything, which I doubt is true. Mr. Ratburn tells Arthur if he studies hard, then he will do well. Scene transitions to Arthur telling his parents during dinner of what happened and what Mr. Ratburn told him, and says that he has up to 100 words to learn. DW says something that I don't understand that irritates her mom and dad. Mom says that they will be able to help him in any way they can. Arthur is happy about this, but he clearly doesn't trust DW. Later, DW spies on Arthur and gets caught by Mom, and her mom offers her the idea of ice cream. Whenever later, Arthur uses the pulley system again to bring up a bunch of books, even though he only needs the dictionary to study. Buster comes up and asks Arthur if he wants to play football. But of course, Arthur has to study in order to do well in the Spellathon. Whenever later, Kate rebels against eating a spoonful of food. Arthur continues to study and he starts to get a brain ache as he doubts his ability to spell as Kate laughs at his pain as the airplane comes to a landing. And it turns out she doesn't mind the food. Arthur's dad tells him that he is able to learn stuff without knowing that you are. He offers Arthur a snack, or at least the idea to have one, and this brightens Arthur's day, and he uses the absolutely word as an answer and starts spelling it. He comes back to see if he gotten it right. He did. Whenever later, while Arthur studies in the living room, doorbell rings and DW goes to answer it. It's Francine and Buster. Francine greets her and asks if Arthur is there. DW says that he can't and that he's exercising his brain. Whenever later, Arthur walks down the... Hold up. That's the hardware store, and if that's there, then should he be passing the sugar bowl instead of the dry cleaners? There's an error in this episode, or at least in the last one. Brain happens to come across the street and he waves a friendly hi. Arthur replies back with a hey. Arthur asks how his studying is going. Brain replies back positively, and right now he is heading to the computer store for some computery stuff for his computer program that he's coding in his spare time. Arthur is in disbelief and internally wishes that he could allow himself some spare time. Whenever later, Arthur brushes his teeth as DW asks him to spell toothpaste. He spells it, and he asks her if he gotten it right. She obviously doesn't know and skips away. I wonder why DW asked this question. DW, did you notice Arthur brushing his teeth and decide to randomly ask it?
How should I know?
Fair enough.
Glooba!
Kate names her Doodle Cheeto. Arthur spells it, pronouncing the word wrong. It's Galuba, not Gluba. Whenever later in his parents' room in front of a mirror and says that he's nervous. And he spells it, out of habit, at the cafeteria/auditorium. It still shows that it's daytime, which is something that's very confusing that I'll explain later. And she says good luck to him instead of Rick Lake. As his family leaves to sit down, DW says,
Don't worry. If you lose, I bet Mom and Dad will let you live in the garage.
DW?
Meanwhile, backstage, Mr. Ratburn is excited and asks how the competitors feel. Brain says he's fine, and Arthur mumbles,
I wish I were back in bed.
That's what makes it so confusing. It's clearly daytime, and Mr. Ratburn mentions that today is a big day. Then why would Arthur want to go to bed if it's the daytime? Before the others could answer Mr. Ratburn's question, Prunella rushes over to them excitedly, announcing that they are going to light the Spellathon torch. Why would they do that? For one thing, it's kind of a school hazard. And another thing is that if they light a Spellathon torch, then the school must think that this is important as the Olympics. The Olympics begin. The Spellathon begins. Brain is first, and his word is fear.
Fear. F-E-R-E. Fear.
I'm sorry. That's incorrect.
Are you sure? What dictionary are you using?
Arthur is afraid of what happened to Brain will happen to him. As time passes from 3:10 to 3:30, Griselda Dorfman, also known as Mary, is out. And right now, it's third grade female cat number 2's turn.
Pieces. P-E-I-C-E-S. Pieces.
No, I'm sorry.
I before E except after
Except it's
C.
Prunella, and her word is
Champion.
That's so easy. I see it every day on my award from last year.
me too, except I saw it on a sled. Almost the same thing.
Champion. C-H-A-M-P-I-O-N. Champion.
Of course she gets it right, and Arthur is up next. His word is suggest.
Suggest. S-U-G-G-E-S-T. Suggest.
That is correct.
You can't beat me. Why don't you just give up?
She says into the microphone for everyone to hear. Preparation is Prunella's next word. Her confidence is getting backed as she spells the word incorrectly. Now it's Arthur's turn to spell the word, and if he gets it right, he will win the Lakewood Elementary All-School Spellathon. No pressure. Very lovely, DW. Very lovely. Arthur spells the word and he spells it correctly. Everyone cheers and Arthur... Hey, wait. How can DW know how to whistle like that? I've never known how. She's very talented for her age. Everyone cheers and Arthur rises up his trophy. Buster talks to him at the end of the spellathon and tells him that he is the best speller of all time. Arthur tells him that the best part about winning is that it's over. Mr. Ratburn comes to congratulate him, knowing he could do it.
Yeah, but now he knows he could do it.
I really like this episode. It has flaws, of course, but it's funny, it has an important lesson, and of course, the most important part that this episode had is DW. I will give this episode an A. And if you want to suggest an Arthur review you want me to review next, please comment your suggestion down below and I will do it as soon as possible. It can be your favorite episode of all time, or one that you hate the most. This will be a change of pace than doing each episode in order, so please stay tuned for the next episode review.
I have to study. I did it!